How's it going, guys, gals, and enemy pals? I'm Alice, your favourite Kiwi trans girl, and guess what? We just hit 2,000 submissive subscribers. It was a great time for that to run out of battery. But yes, you heard right. We have broken 2,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And to celebrate, the other day I made a post here on my channel announcing that on my Discord we have a new Q&A section. And today, as a 2,000 sub celebration, we're gonna read through some of these questions. Trans Girl Answers the Internet's Questions, Volume 2. So then, let's get started. Okay, first question. Does Alice's queer army have a research division? If not, I wish to establish one to do research into making HRT more readily available for troops. Of course we have a weapons research division. Where do you think all of these Nerf guns came from? It is in fact led by Sergeant Brickley, who I recognise hasn't been shown on the channel for a while, but he's still kicking. He did spend 7 months in hospital following the accident. But he's okay now, and he's back to researching. What do you have to say, Sergeant Brickley?
The world will tremble in front of my inventions. Wah, bah, 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 bah.
He's brilliant. He's way smarter than me. However, we do not currently have a biological research division. Perhaps it is time we open it up to develop hormone therapy. And chemical weapons. Hey Alice, how long have you been on hormones? Hello, also Alice. I started hormone therapy on March 24th of 2021. Pills, not injections, just cyproterone and estradiol. What gives you the right? I am the chosen one. It is I, foretold in the prophecy to bring change. I'm also a goddess and I can do literally whatever I want. Just remember, this channel is not a democracy. What is your opinion on the prospect of the formation of the East African Federation? Will they let me hug their cheetahs? Important question. When did you decide to become a YouTuber? Was it a long dream or more of a spontaneous decision? I've actually been trying to make YouTube a thing for me for years, since I was like 16. This is actually my 3rd attempt at starting a channel. I tried twice when I was like 16, 17, but it just didn't click and no one really watched. The content wasn't good. I just didn't have any sort of personality or interesting quirks. Funny thing is, I completely gave up on it for years, and more recently after transitioning, I kind of developed into my own person with a sort of interesting character and sense of humor and weird ideas, and I think things just kind of fell into place. A natural evolution of me that made the perfect character to attract viewers. Personality aspect I was lacking previously. I'm just a more friendly, interesting and funny person now that I've found myself. I guess what's interesting to me is that I only started having relative success on YouTube when I stopped actually trying to make it a thing. It was just fun this time. It just happened. Now it's working and I'm hauling ass to potentially make this a career. Balls? I'm more of a cube gal myself. Hello, oh great and dominant Alice. This one knows how to get my attention. If you could go back and tell yourself one piece of advice, what would it be? That's actually a really tricky question. You know, a lot of trans people go to the default one where they wish they could tell themselves to transition earlier. But to be honest, given the chance, I actually don't think I'd say anything. I'm happy with how things are. I've had good times and I've also had extremely bad times. But I think who I am now is the sum of all those things combined. All the lessons I've learned, memories I've made, and mistakes I've made too. I could tell my 15-year-old self that I'm transgender, but there are people I value who taught me really important life lessons that I would never have met had I transitioned earlier. I'm not confident that I would be as whole a person now if I did that. At the moment, I'm at peace with my path, but maybe that will change in a few years as this YouTube thing progresses. Who knows? I'm excited for the future. Ask me again in a couple of years. Is the food real and is the chocolate tasty? And if the answer to both of those questions is yes, does that mean you're pretty? The food is real, yes. Although I'm not much of a chocolate person, to be honest. But I am pretty. Pretty fucking sick! How many versions of Alice are there? Quite a lot, like at least 30 at this point. I don't have an exact number, it's hard to keep track of one of me, like what the fuck? I don't know what the rest are doing. At what stage did you know you're a girl? That was a snap of the fingers decision to transition for me. For years I wanted to be a girl, but I just didn't know that it was something I could do. When I realized that transitioning was a viable option, it just clicked, and I never looked back. I'm a very decisive person, I would say more so than average. Once that decision was made, it was final, and I just worked hard to make it a reality. At some point slowly and after lots and lots of work, my reality just kinda changed. and I didn't think of myself as a guy anymore. I don't really even see myself as trans anymore. I mean, obviously I am, and I'm proud of that. I just don't think about it, you know? I'm just Alice, and I'm a girl. What is my favorite Lego set? I have Lego set number 7893, which is like this really old blue airliner. It's fucking cool, and I played with it for hours as a kid. I still have it somewhere. Maybe I'll do a Lego video at some stage. Would anyone like that? What is your favourite Architects album? And what's your favourite song from that album? Okay, so here's a person that knows about my metalhead history. Architects is a metalcore band from the UK. One that I've been listening to for fucking yonks. My favourite Architects album is All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us. To me, it's just absolute 10 out of 10. I don't think there is a more emotional and powerful album ever made. Rest in peace, Tom Searle. Was an inspiration to me for a really long time. In terms of favourite song from that album, I would like Memento Mori to be played at my funeral, whenever that happens. Musically though, can't really pick a favourite, maybe Deathwish. My next favourite album is Daybreaker. That shit goes hard. What is your opinion on Wayne Brown? I don't know who that is. What's your favourite Ninjago season? I also don't know what that is. What are among your favourite movies and TV shows? I like this question. Hell yeah, okay, I'll do a top 3 for both movies and TV shows. Movies. The Lion King. That shit was my childhood. Then I would probably say Terminator 1 and Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I live for Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan. Really. I'm such a fangirl. In terms of TV shows, that's a little bit more tough, because I tend to watch a lot more TV shows than movies. Mainly because I just don't have time to sit down and dedicate 2 hours to something that's not productive. So TV shows is going to be a little bit tricky for me, but I think I'd have to say Teen Titans 2003, old Top Gear, and maybe She-Ra. Fucking, of course that was gonna be on there. What trans girl doesn't absolutely love She-Ra? Half the fucking trans memes on the internet are of Catra or Adora. You said you were in a band, yeah? What instruments do you play? Can we expect any music-related output from our supreme leader Alice anytime soon? I was the band. I made everything. I played the guitar, the bass, I did the vocals, I programmed the drums and ambience, etc. I mixed and mastered the whole thing and got it up on iTunes and Spotify, etc. It was pretty cool. You know, I was pretty proud of the shit that I made, but it's not up anymore because, you know, I didn't pay the licensing fees. These days with YouTube, I haven't really had the time to keep up with practicing guitar, so really I'd say I'm mainly a vocalist now. And yes, absolutely, if YouTube ever becomes a full-time thing for me, and I can dedicate more spare time to other creative processes, I will definitely put out some music. It's just something I love to do and something I have been doing for a long time. It's just my YouTube took off and my music didn't. Other than your own, what are your favourite YouTube channels? I watch a lot of YouTube. Dolce Volca is a big one. He's a cheetah whisperer. He makes such good cheetah content. I love him so much. He's precious. And also, I just love seeing cute little cheetahs. It's so cool. That channel is an absolute gem, and you should check it out. I also have watched Hat Films since my young teens. I follow them quite religiously. And the original Yogscast, Lewis and Simon, sort of Minecraft stuff from like 2011 to 2012. Long-time fan. I also like Dollar Plays. Somehow he makes War Thunder seem fun again. I am a big fan of Jay Schlatt and Ted Nevison. Very much my type of humour, and in fact I would say I take them as a lot of my inspiration for my content. Coop772 for Nerf stuff, just because I'm a total nerd. Internet Historian is fucking awesome. I love all of his channels. Robaz, when he uploads once in a blue moon. I'm absolutely obsessed with his old KSP stuff. I've been watching him play Kerbal Space Program for years. Pyrocynical, and yeah, I'd say those are the main ones I watch. There are loads of others I only watch occasionally. What is your opinion on Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown? Oh. Okay, Wayne Brown is the Auckland Mayor. I should really know that. I should really know that. I live in Auckland. Okay. What is my opinion on Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown? Wayne is a terrible name and Brown is a terrible colour. 2 out of 10. Don't know anything about the actual dude, but that's not a promising start. As glorious Supreme Leader, what will be your first proclamation? Free Cheesecake! Free the Cheesecake! For too long, the creamy goodness has been locked behind the glass prisons of display cases. This is unacceptable. It cannot go on. How did you start to gain traction as a new YouTuber? What was the moment you thought this was something you could do regularly and grow into? I actually wouldn't say I've gained traction yet. At this stage, the algorithm still doesn't promote my videos at all. I'm only gaining subs due to my aggressive self-promoting. You know, whenever I post on Reddit, I also post a comment with a channel link in there. And that's usually how I gain subscribers. Hopefully at some point the algorithm will help. But yeah, I guess if you're asking for advice, if you're a new YouTuber, I would genuinely just say, be a complete cunt and self-promote everywhere. What was the moment you thought this was something you could do regularly and grow into? It was really when I started to upload every week, maybe 3 or 4 vids into my channel, where I thought that this was something I could do regularly. In fact, seeing the reception I've received from all of you is currently making me realize that this could potentially become a full-time gig for me, which is extremely exciting, so stay tuned. Why did you start making YouTube videos, and how long does it take to make a video? Good question. I've always been very creative, and I've always loved making people laugh. I just want to share that with people, and that's kind of why I started. I thought I had what it took to entertain people. It usually takes me, I would say, about 15 to 16 hours of labor spread across the week to make a short video. That's recording, editing, all of that stuff. If the video is long, that can easily stretch to 20 plus hours. Generally on my YouTube at the moment, I'm working about 30 hours a week on top of my current 40-hour-a-week full-time job. So yeah, it takes a while. What is your problem with French people? I think a better question is, what is the problem with the French? What is the French people's problem? I mean, seriously. Baguette, baguette, red wine, I am agitador, my Marlboro cigarettes, I smoke till I die. Really? And let's not get started on the mind reading. Atrocious. Space movies? I am a big Star Wars fan. Yes. Space movies. Apart from the Mazda MX-5 Miata you have, do you own any other cars? I have a 79 930 Turbo. In my dreams. One day I will have a classic car collection. It may well be die-cast models, but we'll see. Kind of personal question, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but what is your sexual orientation? I am not straight. I am not gay. I'm pretty close to bisexual, but to be honest, I'd just say I'm attracted to people tougher than me. I like the kind of woman that will literally just kill me. I was wondering if you have a celebrity crush. Dacre Montgomery. Oh my god, I love him. He's so cute, and he's also super wholesome. I am willing to look past the Australianness. If given the option, would you jump into a black hole? No. No, I don't think so. If you could choose any 2 Star Wars characters to be your bodyguards, who would you choose? ObiWan Kenobi, and he's such a Chad that he counts as 2. That's all I need. I am a huge simp for Obi-Wan Kenobi. If I had to pick a second person, I mean, it doesn't matter that much, but I'd maybe go with Darth Jar Jar, the true Sith Lord. Have you ever had a dream that you wanted him to do you so much that you could do anything? Yeah. I have a dream. What is a show/movie you can watch over and over and not get bored of? For me, I would say old Top Gear adventures. 100%. I know Jeremy Clarkson is kind of a bit of a wanker, but god, the 3 of them together are just endlessly entertaining. I think specifically the Vietnam special and that one episode where Jeremy puts a block of flats on the back of a Citroen. I think those ones are probably my favourite, but generally just the whole thing. I just love their adventures, you know? How do you think socks get lost in the dryer? Do they go to sock heaven? Where do they go? Most people don't actually lose socks in the dryer. Perhaps your socks are sentient in some way. Perhaps they have run off to a mystical land full of giant mushrooms, elves, fairies, and weirdly perverted gnomes. So by the way, you're a submissive, love you. Wait, what the fuck? Say it again! I dare you! Just hit me in the nuts. It's okay, I'm getting surgery anyway. What's the story behind the road sign in your room? My friend and I were skipping school, I know, so rebellious, and driving out to a beach. I was in the passenger seat and out of the corner of my eye I just saw a little glint of metal in the forest. Way off the side of the road, deep in the underbrush. I got my mate to pull over and we took a look, and it was that, but it was covered in shit. And it was like just under a bridge. So someone had obviously thrown a really old road sign out into the middle of a forest. For some reason. My friend had previously stolen road signs and I thought the ones at his place were really cool, so I decided I was going to keep that one. Chucked it in the back of the car, came back to my place, spent 2 hours washing it up, and it's been on my wall ever since. That was about 6 years ago. As you've said, the femboy/queer army will need air support. Can I be in command of aviation related things? Qualifications include understanding of modern air operations, can fly, intend to work either flying or designing aircraft, no room left, etc. No room left is not really a qualification. But, we do need development in our Air Force. We must retain air superiority, especially if we're going up against Ohio, because that is America, and they do have the largest military in the world. Perhaps I need to acquire a remote-controlled plane. I shall consider your proposal and come back to you. How'd you pick the name Alice? I've done a lot of writing in the past, and one of the stories I wrote had a character called Alice, and I kind of really connected with her. I really fell in love with that character I created, and I guess as it turns out, I was kind of writing myself into existence. When I realized I was trans, it only made sense. Do you have an area of interest you want to work in for a career? Also, did Sergeant Brickley ever recover from the accidental decapitation? To be honest, I'd actually quite like to make YouTube a career. I'm working really fucking hard to make that a possibility right now. We'll see how that goes. And yes, Sergeant Brickley is once more on the prowl. He has learned to live with his disability and is now the head of our weapons research division. What are some of your areas of interest that you haven't yet shared on your YouTube channel? I.e. gardening, bird watching, playing the kazoo, chewing the little bubble tea balls. I will say bubble tea balls are fucking good, but it doesn't really count as a special interest. But great question. I am a massive nerd. I'm also very creative. As a kid, I built a lot of kit set models. I have like a dozen old World War II tanks and Formula 1 cars and stuff that I made back in the day. Lego as well. I still love that. I've just graduated to larger models, like working on my actual car. Speaking of which, I also love working on cars. My car was an automatic when I bought it. It is now a 5-speed manual. That was a big fucking job. But yeah, so working on mechanical stuff, that's definitely a thing for me. I also write. I've written a bunch of books that will probably never get published, but I'm proud of them nonetheless. I make music, I can sing and play guitar. I also learned how to fully record, mix and master music. I even had music on iTunes and Spotify for a while. But as I said, licensing fees. Obviously makeup is also a big interest for me. Animals too, Nerf guns, lots of stuff. I also love technology. I've built a lot of computers in my time, but I haven't really kept up with tech news since like 2020. But yeah, those are like my main areas of interest. There's probably more that I've completely forgotten about. What is the name of this secret book that you wrote and how can I access it? You can't access it for now. Perhaps one day if YouTube becomes a full-time thing for me and I have more spare time to dedicate to my other creative hobbies, I might have enough time to finish writing/editing these books and maybe you'll see them published. There's actually a few of them. The oldest one is called You're Not Boring Anymore, but that's old news and I've decided it's not really up to par and not the kind of thing I want to get published. However, I'm currently working on a 5-book steampunk-style novel series. It's called Rise of Wrath, and I've written basically half of it so far. Book 1 is called Hell in the Heavens, it's about 85,000 words. Book 2 is called Dazaran 100, and it's about 110,000 words. And Book 3, the name is currently TBC, and only Act 1 of 2 acts is complete, so it's half done, and it is currently, I think, 88,000 words. So that one's gonna be long. But there's 2 other books in the series to finish writing after that. It's all planned out. Would you still love me if I was a worm? No. If someone went to Auckland and asked, would you meet them IRL? If I organised a meet and greet, absolutely. I would love to meet people, but not one-on-one. For a multitude of reasons, but a big one is that I'm just a really busy gal at the moment. I barely have the time to go out and hang out with friends. But hopefully one day I'm big enough to have meet and greets, and that would be so much fun. I would love to meet people. Anyway, that's all of the questions I've got. Thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. It really means a lot to me, and I've got my sights set on 3,000 already. And remember what I said in this video, when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I will go to a liquor store in full maid outfit regalia and buy alcohol. I'm not scared. I am not frightened. I'm brave. I'm not scared. I'm a little bit scared. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and you could also ding the bell if you wanted to be extra cool. And don't forget that commenting helps me on the algorithm. If you want to support my channel and help me pay for surgery, my buy me a coffee link is in the description. Really appreciate it. And I suppose that's all for now. Bye bye.